Now, we are still going to build a DAO from scratch, but we do have our special guest, Juliet, from the Aragon team to go over a no-code solution that you can use as an alternative.
Hello, everyone. My name is Julia Chevalier. I'm the developer advocate for Aragon, and today we'll be building a DAO without using a single line of code. Let's go. So to do that, I'll be using Aragon as my DAO framework. And to give you a bit of a better overview as to how Aragon's architecture is set up, DAOs are essentially composed of a smart contract, which is the one that contains all of the assets that the organization manages. So it acts as a treasury. And then all of the other functionality for DAOs is really enabled through plugins. And we'll see how this is represented itself throughout the process that we'll build. So we go into app.aragon.org, we go into creating a DAO. First, we'll see the process that we'll be taking in order to do that, and then we can get right into it. So firstly, we need to choose the blockchain in which our DAO will be deployed in. I'll choose Gorally for the sake of simplicity and playing with testnet. Then we get to describe our DAO, so we can have a developer DAO, which can be something like this. We can set up our ENS, we can set up our logo, a description, a DAO for developers, and we can add in additional links as well that represent the organization. Then we'll go into defining the membership. This is what will define who is able to participate in the governance of these assets. And currently, our app supports two different types of membership definitions and governance mechanisms. One of them is token holders, which enables holders of specific tokens to vote in the organization. And then we have multi-sig members, which establishes a specific quorum that needs to be met in order for a proposal to go through. Now, to give you some context, both of these on the back are plugins, which essentially extend the functionality of what DAOs can do through enable them this specific decision-making process in order to manage the assets of the organization. However, keep in mind this can be anything, and plugins can also work to move funds. They can be treasury management mechanisms. They can be different types of coordination styles. And so really the possibilities are endless when we speak about customizing these types of on-chain organizations. Then we're going to create a token. This can be something like developer token. We can call it something like DVP. I can set up, say, 1,000 tokens for myself, or add any other address that I want to transfer some funds to. Then I establish what is the minimum amount of tokens that someone needs in order to create a proposal. I'll say 10. I could also just say, like, allow anyone out there to vote and create proposals, at which point there is a risk of proposal spam. So keeping that in mind, I'll just say that we need, say, 10 tokens in order to create a proposal. Then we'll go through our governance settings. So what is the minimum support threshold needed, the minimum participation needed for a proposal to be valid, how much time is the minimum duration the proposal needs to be out there in order for it to be counting the votes. And then we can say that we don't want early execution, which means that we wait for the entire time of the duration of the proposal, as well as not enable people to change their vote after they've voted. I can also vote yes to that. And then the last step is simply revising those parameters that I've set. So out of everything that we've defined, only the blockchain selection is the one thing that we cannot change later on, since that's the blockchain through which we're deploying our DAO. But really everything else, we can change it later on with a proposal vote. And so the idea here is to really enable these types of immutable organizations to mutate and evolve with time. So I'll sign in my proposal, I go back into my deployment, and so at this stage, what's happening on the back is that Aragon is deploying this DAO construct instance with the specific plugins defined, installed, as we determined through the DAO creation process. So once that's done, we can come into the dashboard of our DAO. We'll be able to see who is a member of our organization, how many tokens are held. I can create proposals, I can make deposits. And so this is where we'll be managing the organization. Keep in mind that this is a pretty default template that Aragon has set up as our initial drafts. We have a lot of iterations coming in terms of the type of plugins you'll be able to use, the different types of decision-making strategies you'll be able to implement. And so the customizability really is endless. Thank you very much.